good season start at the World Center of Racing. The Speed Cup Series is no exception. This is the home of NASCAR Super Bowl. This is Daytona. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. My name is Ola Rambo, bringing you all of racing action from start to finish on an absolutely fantastic Thursday afternoon. This race gonna be a wild one this afternoon. 80 laps, 200 miles will see us kick off the 4th season of Speed Cup Series competition. Tonight's race, of course, one of what is going to be several throughout the opening portions of 2025 for the first of 2 series they're going to be having. We kick things off tonight at the World Center of Racing. That takes us to Atlanta Motor Speedway 1 week from today. Then it's the Circuit of the Americas, then the Phoenix Raceway, followed by Las Vegas, Homestead, and the Milwaukee Mile to close out March. April will see us go to Darlington, Bristol, Knoxville Racing Circuit, and the Talladega Super Speedway, with May hosting most of the chase, including the regular season finale at Texas Motor Speedway. Chase races, there's 5 of them. It's Kansas, North Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Nashville, and Michigan to close out the season just at the start of June. All of that takes us then to racing action this afternoon from Daytona. We've already been through the Eliminator. We've been through pole qualifying. We've been through the 30-lap duels. And boy, what the duels were was something to behold. One of them full of beating and banging door-to-door action. The other one filled entirely with fuel mileage, with several drivers running out on the final lap, going nigh caution-free. What style of racing are we getting this afternoon? I'm more akin to be the one with the beating and banging, as we can see cars already wrecking on pit road. You got a full pack tonight. 40-plus cars are getting set to take to the grid this afternoon. And boy, it is going to be a wild one. I cannot wait. I know you folks at home can't wait either. What a season this is going to be. One of the biggest fields that the Speed Cup Series has ever fielded in any of their races. Having 40 cars, period, is a huge feat that most leagues don't ever hit. But of course, what better place for it to be hit than right here at Daytona. The race start tonight is going to be critical. Drivers are going to be dropping off of the pack early on. They're going to be losing the draft early on. They cannot afford to take a single break in racing action this afternoon, because if they do, the second you let your guard down, you are done, and your chance of winning has gone out the window. Several new drivers coming into the season this afternoon. Dave Harrington, of course, jumping into the fray. Sean Bounty returning to the Speed Cup Series for his first full-time season. Other rookies include Cosmin Ionescu, along with Jeffrey Goodpacer, Wesley Dunphy, and more. Several returning heavy hitters like Drew Eisman returns from Season 1. Christopher Darling is going to be looking to get himself set up with a good run here, while Jason Gracias tries to retake his championship for Season 2, and of course, Bobby Anderson will be looking to hold on to the crown. He is in dire need of a good night exiting Daytona this afternoon. We'll get to all of that and more of the nuances in just a moment. For now, we have to take ourselves a quick step back because, well, we got to get through your opening ceremonies, and when we get to that, it'll be Green Flag Racing on Green Flag TV.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner
And now with a very special message and the most famous words in motorsports, it's your Grand Marshal, Larry McReynolds.
Hello, Speed Racing League. I know imitation is the biggest form of flattery, but not when that hack Doug Milner does it. Now that I've got that off my chest, welcome to the 2025A Speed Cup Series. Good luck, and let's pull those belts tight one more time, and let's have a great, safe race. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, you got to start off the season with a good little jab of the mix of things, don't you? And that's going to take us straight through to the starting grid. 41 cars are gridded on up, and this is how they line up this afternoon from the Daytona International Speedway. Started on pole, it's Cosmodianis taking home pole just last week at the Eliminator. Alongside him, Sean Mountain making his first full-time start in the season. Took the regular season championship at the end of season number 3. Looking this time to go for a full championship. Defending champion Bobby Anderson won the first duel for DSR. He is going to be locked in on that third spot alongside season 1 champion Christopher Darling, who took the win in duel number 2. Now the dual runner-ups, Stan Housen brings it up in 5th. Richard Regan Jr. was in 6th. Then it's Drew Eisman in 7th. Doug Milliner in 8th. Martin Flynn in 9th. Mark McFadden brings home the top 10. Scott Leonard back at the number 11 spot alongside Jeffrey Coodpaster. Then it's Ethan Amberg and Sedarius Days. Here at Austin, Adalta Powell will be 15th and 16th. 17th is Ryan Shelton with 1. Jason Garcia is down in 18th. Moving back through the field, Josiah Vincent and Ryan Newman bring up 19th and 20th. From there, it's Dave Harrington and Zach Williams, Devin Pirog and Stacy Hunter, Joey Barrett and Jeremiah Vincent, Nate Cotilla and Arabia Cainton. Then that is followed up by Caleb Sheets and Jeffrey Reed. Matthew Major brings it home in 31st place alongside Wesley Dunphy. Jason Chu brings it up in 33rd alongside Tim Branson. Then it's Corey Hutchinson in 35th, Kyle Holden in 36th, Charles Simmer, Ben Mashburn, Stephen Gibson Jr., Stephen Kirby, and Colton Easterday close out the field. Easterday, a provisional into this race after he did not run in the duels. So the field working the back straightaway. 2 pace laps on the afternoon just to give people a chance to get things sorted. And well, before we get into it, let's give a quick shout out to all the folks that helped keep the lights on here for the Speed Cup Series. Season number 4 is brought to you, most importantly this afternoon, by Highline Diecast Collectibles, the new big hitter coming on in to fund much of the season, and extremely thankful for all their efforts. Whether you're hunting for the latest releases, rare finds, or looking to sell your own collection, they've got you covered. Plus, don't miss their live auctions every week on Facebook, where you can score incredible deals on must-have collectibles. Check them out today and follow them along at facebook.com/HLD Collectibles, where passion for racing meets collectible perfection. And by Brookstone Animal Hospital. Brookstone Animal Hospital is a AAHA accredited full-service veterinary medical boarding and grooming facility serving Metro Atlanta, with a mission to provide modern and up-to-date medicine while also tailoring care to the health and well-being of all animals. Visit brookstonevet.com to schedule your appointment today. And of course, by Beer Street Journal. With thousands of articles, millions of unique visitors, and exposure in over 200 countries, Beer Street Journal is paving the way to enabling category growth, engaging a broader consumer base, and promoting better tasting beer for years to come. BeerStreetJournal.com, the best in beer. And by Twisted Steel Steak Appeal. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Pluta is a solid punch of sweet and a heat flavor that lingers to let you know it's there. Marty Pluta is an award-winning Steak Cook-Off Association chef and has finally revealed his secret resting rub that'll blow you away with flavor. Steak, veggies, fish, pork, and poultry. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal is a rub above the rest. And then lastly, other sponsors include SimWrap Guy, and of course, we cannot forget SimWrap Market. Well, that's it then. Field is effectively locked in, and we are just about ready to rumble from Daytona. Laps, 200 miles. This will be the longest race of the season. But hey, it's the biggest race this season. Why wouldn't it be? Sedarius Day struggling to catch up from the tail end of the field. Something going awry for the driver of the number 12 Ford Mustang. Down to the racetrack for the Go Sim Sports and Highline Diecast Collectibles number 12. And looking like Sedarius Days could be starting his season from the outside looking in. iRacing pace car gets set to pull down in the pit road, this time by Sedarius Days, officially stopped on the back straightaway. Ram, you're joining us for some more thrilling action here on Thursday nights. We're entering the Geico Restart Zone. The Speed Cup Series is back on Green Flag TV! And crashing already, tail of the field. Multiple cars around, Major around, Gibson around. Not the way we wanted to start this one, but no caution. We stay green. Now the caution is forced to fly. We don't even make it to turn one. We were green and then we weren't. Several drivers crashed before they even got to the start-finish line. Massive stack. I don't know why we're laying so far back, but a massive stack up on both lanes. Somebody runs into another. And Major just gets turned by the three who ran into the back of him. The Brookstone Animal Hospital machine kicked up into the air, and then Major, with little control, slides down the racetrack right into the path of Stephen Gibson. Little how you do. One of the slowest wreck avoidance I think we've ever seen. So these guys in the back of the field were trying to jump it. The guys in front of them just hadn't started going yet. So that puts us under the caution flags for the first time tonight on lap 1 of 80. Not putting it ideal would be the blunt way of putting this one. You know, it's often that we'll get cautions a couple laps into restarts at Daytona and Talladega. Typically, just as we're getting up to speed, maybe if we get a little bit aggressive on the restart, but almost never before we actually get to the line. Take one more look back at this. So watch the leaders. Right there, they're in the zone, and here they go. So they launched, and the guys in the back reacted to the green flag instead of to the cars in front of them. 42 car took a little bit of a whack at the outside wall. That is Charles Simmer. He is now nursing some pretty critical right front damage on the Jurassic Park machine. Several drivers into pit road. Stephen Gibson Jr. is into pit road. So is Jeremiah Vincent. Now, drivers like Vincent I'm curious about, because this tells me this is a fuel game. It's fuel only stops for Vincent, Shu, Kirby, and Holden. Gibson did come down pit road, but he did not get to his pit box. I'm willing to bet Sim HQ Chevrolet Camaro missed it. Is on board with Shu. Yeah, so he tried to go, and, well, the guys in front of him just didn't, to put it bluntly. It is what it is. Poor luck of the draw there for a lot of guys at the tail of the field. It's one of those hazards, though, of starting on a super speedway race. I mean, a lot of these guys, they're aware of how easy it is to lose the draft of the leading pack. They know just how critical it is to stay packed up to these guys, and, well, it just didn't work out. Now, interestingly enough, we talk a lot on Monday nights on the High Tide Race League about how little representation Toyota gets to the field. It's always a Chevy and a Ford battle, typically. Not the case this afternoon. The Chevy's actually well outnumbered by a combination of Fords and Toyotas. In fact, only 3 Chevys within the top half of the field. And only about a quarter of this pack is on Chevrolets. Twin Toyotas will lead us back to the green. And then it's mostly Fords and Toyotas throughout. So rather than having the initially scheduled 2 pace laps, we've really had about 6 by now. So I hope we're formed up properly and ready to go. Wesley Dunphy is making his way out of pit road. I believe the 156 among those that got some heavy front end damage, and that is, I mean, look at all that bent up sheet metal on the front end of that race car. That is not a pleasant sight to see. Today's days, by the way, still stationary in pit road. Still not sure what has happened to the number 12. Colton Easterday did not make the start for this race. So the field works off of turn number 4, and, well, we'll get set to try it again, to put it mildly. Race cars off, green flags up, we're back to racing once again. Much better jump off the line that time by Christopher Darling. Leads the official first green flag lap of the season. Crosby Yonashu going to be the main pusher, trying to keep that 11 car out in front. Single file early on in this one for the most part throughout the field. Jumping up to the high side, though, going to be the number 0, I think. Unsure 100%. Joey Bear with problems. He's tumbling through the field. And that is Dalton Powell up on the high side of the racetrack. 0 on the race car, scored as the 20 for the Ghost number 20 machine. Right behind him, Rebel Racing driver Sean Boundy. Seeing what that number 36 car can do as he starts to power towards the head of the field. Further back, you got a lot of double file action here in the secondary pack that's headed up by Martin Plouffe. Scott Leonard, the main pusher of this second duo here. The fact that these guys have not gotten single file is really quite hampering a lot of these drivers, and Joey Barrett is somewhere in the midst of all of this. There he is, Joey Barrett, just at the bottom end of the racetrack. He's been having connection problems the entire race so far. Hoping that was whatever those issues are, he can get them resolved. We can just go back and have some good old-fashioned Daytona racing. Zach Williams with TGOM, fastest lap of the race that time by for the Kroger and Fastenal number 69 Mustang. Christopher Darling leading the way for the sim wrap guy, number 11 Camaro up front. So single file for pack one, Dalton Powell and Doug Milner. A couple of stragglers started to drop off of this one. 3-car breakaway from the second pack, and Josiah Benson and Devin Burog both trying to stay relatively close behind these guys. And all this double file, though, is really not helping them. It's a major hindrance that this field is struggling with. They got to get themselves single filed out. As there's Doug Millet. They're now 3 wide up high, dropping back, no help for the driver, the number 6. He's going to go into the outside wall and tumble down the field. Already about to be reaching lap number 10 this afternoon. The laps do fly by when you're making quick time in this one. Now, based off of what we saw throughout the heat races, the duels, this race is going to go one of two ways. Either we're going to be seeing drivers pitting at about the lap 25 markers, or we're going to be seeing drivers backing off majorly, even down about 170 or so. 20 miles an hour slower than what we're going now, and trying to stretch it around 28 to 30. Jared Austin, the Gold Octopus Motorsports driver, he's going to catch the outside wall. A lot of separation all of a sudden in the middle of this pack here. Things start to heat up. Up to the front, Christopher Darling continuing to lead the way from this field. Yonisu running in the number 2 spot. To the outside of the racetrack is the NWO machine, trying to establish a second lane up high. That is Ethan Amberg. That is right now pushing Jeffrey Goodpaster. So Goodpaster leading the outside lane. Ryan Shelton is also tangled up on that high side. Mark McFadden, the Java Motorsports driver, is down low. One of only 2 international drivers in the field today. McFadden, the lone Canadian. Jumping up high, going to be the 56 car, Richard Regan Jr. for the Legacy Esports crew. Pops up top, he's going to be pushed by Goodpaster. That's going to drag back Bobby Anderson on the low side, along with Drew Eisenman. Leaving it now. A 2-horse race, and look at the huge bump from Goodpaster, just shoving Regan to the point. Breaks around Christopher Darling. And we're now side by side for the lead of the race here. You see the absolutely monstrous gap now. 5 seconds back to the second pack here. Group 2 not making a whole lot of steam right now. They have gotten single filed out. We'll see if that'll help them at all. For now, we're still 2 wide for the lead, with Regan really trying to hold up Goodpaster. Here comes Bowder, the huge run. Gracias gets on the binders, and they're not going to try to push it 3 wide for the lead just yet. Hopping up top is going to be Anderson for the first time, and now Regan clears the bottom. Bounty still favoring that outside line, as is Richard Regan Jr. They both recognize the absolute benefits of running the top shelf out of these corners, and now they've gotten clear. There's not a whole lot, I reckon, that inside lane is going to do about it, so long as these guys remain hooked up. Unless Shelton can give Goodpaster such a massive push like he just did down to the turn 3. Teamwork makes the dream work, and boy, is that ever prevalent in cup car racing at the plate tracks. So 3 very distinct packs are forming here. Jeffrey Goodpacer right now leads the way. Pack 2 headed up by Martin Blute and Scott Lennon, and then pack 3 headed up by Arabia Caton III, who's being shoved by Kyle Holden. They just got clear of a wounded Ben Mashburn. So this third pack is from 25th on down. Pack 2 encompasses 14th through 25th, and then the top 13 is what makes up the big pack right now, and the only side-by-side pack on the racetrack. Regan gonna hop down low. He was loyal to the outside, not for long though. I think he really wants to work with Goodpacer. I mean, Goodpacer and Shelton have both proven themselves early in this race as being incredibly valuable pushers, but evidently Goodpacer doesn't want to push. He wants to lead, as he'll jump up top, and Sean Bowden going to be more than happy to shove him clear. We're behind, one car dipping low onto the apron. Looks like that's going to be all sorted. Oh, we got issues behind 1 or 2 cars into the fence, and now everybody's kind of scrambling all over the place in the second pack. A lot of discombobulation, and I think they're going to be able to more or less get around that. They got a little dicey there coming off of turn 2. Take a look. So the 42 entry here, I think just going to kind of, no, it was the 8 car getting the batter, run into the wall, kind of cuts off the Brookstone car as he tries to jump to the low side, and then Brookstone car jumps up and nearly took out one of the outside runners. Already your race leaders imminently approaching lap traffic. Here is Munatsi Major, along with Sedarius Days, who is back on the racetrack. Traffic, it's an inevitability at any racetrack, but especially so in a track like Daytona when you're running in cup cars where it's so easy to break apart. Both lap cars going to jump down to the low side, taking the easy way out of that situation. Probably a wise move at that. Oh boy, 1 car to the grass. That's Wesley Dunphy. Problems up in turn 2. Not sure what happened. We're 3 wide coming off of 4. Take a look back at Dunphy. This is on lap 18 coming to 19. Oh boy, huge loose moment. Cars going 3 wide. And Dunphy eventually forced down low. Couldn't really get a chance to come up and just got onto the apron, kind of got hooked. And he is going to go hard into the outside wall. Jason Shu escapes it. So a big lick into the outside fence. That should be game over just about for Dunphy. Still chugging along, but he is down low on the racetrack, and this will definitely be game over for him. Leader's about to pass him up on the high side. There they go. And into pit road will come our first retirement for an accident of the afternoon. quarter distance complete in this one, and the caution flag comes out as we got problems up in turn number 2. A couple of guys going around back here, looking like Stephen Gibson Jr. may have been one of the hot contenders in this. Take a look back. Single file, you would think it'd be relatively difficult to have a wreck, but things can happen quickly at Daytona. Let's see. Up front, is this the case of pushing the pusher? Yes, it is. Devin Pirog spun around, full 360. Up into the outside wall, went to 28, and that was that. Tell you what, a lot of the field did a pretty good job to get around that and just make sure that that wasn't worse than it was. Yeah, just a couple of bad bumps, and eventually someone has to misjudge it. It's going to be on board with Nate Cotilla. Great job hopping on the binders, slowing it down, giving these guys room to save it. Pretty much everybody coming down the pit road this time by. Again, no surprises here. Well, this saves a lot of battle packs that were on a deficit. Now they're all going to be able to come back around. 2-tire stop for Jeffrey Goodpacer. He's going to look to put himself up front. But Sean Boundy just going to best him off of pit road there. Ooh, a little contact there coming off of the pits. Careful, boys. And that puts us under the yellow flag for the first time tonight. Well, the second time, technically, on that one. Depends if you count the one before the green, but caution flag is out for the second time this afternoon. We'll take a step back when we return. It's the restart on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flying TV, about to go green once again for round number 1 of the Speed Cup Series. Tonight's race is brought to you by Highline Die-Cast Collectibles, your go-to source for high-quality NASCAR die-cast and memorabilia. Whether you're hunting for the latest releases, rare finds, or looking to sell your own collection, they've got you covered. And don't forget their weekly collections at Facebook, their weekly auctions at facebook.com/HLD Collectibles, where passion for racing meets collectible perfection. Other spots include Brookstone Animal Hospital, SimRat Guide, Beer Street Journal, Twisted Steel Steak Appeal, SimRat Market, and SimRat Guide. Pace car is into pit road. We'll enter the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. We're back to it. So far, so smooth off of turn number 2 as we hit the Daytona Super Stretch for the 25th time this afternoon. Yeah, for good pace, sir. Just barely lost the race off of pit road under caution to Sean Boundy, and that race off pit road has cost him big time as he has dropped all the way back now to 7th. Car coming down pit road, that is Joey Barrett, the driver, the number 43, is into pit road. Potential restart penalty on this one. Let's take a look. Single file inside. Nope, not sure what he got a penalty for. Definitely didn't do anything egregious. Oh, look out! Mark McFadden gets up there and almost into the outside wall. Martin Pluke goes evasive. One car is still down on the apron. That was Richard Regan Jr., and I think we'll survive it. But, oh boy, only by the skin of our teeth. That was one of the closest calls we've seen all day long, and, well, this is what happened. Take a look. This is going to get wild. Watch McFadden here as he just gets hooked up. Holy cow. So close to that outside wall. I cannot underestimate to you how lucky McFadden is. Take one more look. And look at how close this gets. Yikes! Doesn't get much tighter than that. That easily should have been a big one that took out half the field. We might get it here, though, as we're looking for 3 coming down the front straightaway. McFadden up and almost into the outside fence again. Not a lot of coordination right now in the midst of this pack. Looking like McFadden will be forced to tuck back in line here eventually once Ben Master gets through on the inside. Or he might just do it here and he will do it there. So Boundy leads the way from Darling, from Amberg, and this leading pack stretches all the way back to 25th and then 26th. We see Pack 2 headed up by Charles Simmer. Garrett Austin is in the fray of this one. Tim Branson is there. So is Devin Burog, Jason Shue, Stacy Hunter, Reed, Milliner, Kirby, and Harrington, who are all on the lead lap. Plus, I believe 1 or 2 lap car stragglers in the mix of this as well. Branson trying to look high. Nobody went with him, though. He's got Milliner, but Two cars, it's not going to do much, unfortunately, up on the high lane. You need at least 3 or 4 to make it work effectively. Even then, you need those guys to work together, and right now, drivers like Goodpacer, McFadden, and Powell, they just aren't working together all that much. Up the road, though, another group of 3 starting to make moves. Richard Regan Jr., not Richard Regan Jr., sorry, Ryan Shelton, Jason Garcias, and Martin Plout have all jumped up high. And the Eisentech Enterprises number 77 Mustang of Drew Eisenman not going to be left out of the party. He's going to make it a 4-car train up top. Down, 50 to go. Zach Williams with the fastest lap of the race that time by. So we know we can go at least 22 laps on this fuel run here, including a few caution laps. So maybe more about at least, we know we can go at least 20 on 1 tank of fuel. About halfway to the point where we were when we got our first caution of the night. Second, I keep forgetting that first caution happened because it just delayed the start by a bunch. Second pack is starting to get a little bit more dicey. A lot of drivers jumping up to the outside lane. Right now, Jeremiah Vincent leading the way for the Napa Auto Parts number 8 Camaro. He is pushed by Kyle Holden, Gibson, Goodpacer, Powell, McFadden, all run to the top side. Now Holden taking a bold strat of bumping mid-corner. I'm not 100% sure if I'm a fan of that because it does upset him a little bit down the straight. Tell you one, though, Josiah Vincent read the situation perfectly, saw the run coming from the top and decided to abandon the inside line and go where the party is. So the inside lane being outnumbered, the outside guys should be able to make short work of that bottom lane. Well, as I say that, Holden, Gibson, Goodpacer, abandoned loyalties on the high side. That's what's slowing these guys down. The fact that they're really not working together. A lot of these guys are just kind of running together. I think if they were to get up on the high side, get some tandems going, they might be able to make some progress on the leading pack. It's not happening right now, though. I mean, they're more focusing on going side by side with each other. And actually, we got Joey Bear in the grass here, sliding down. And I'm willing to bet he's had another hardware issue. He is towed to the pits. The outside lane still working in the second group. Jason Garcia is going to drive his way to the point, and that will put him now up to 12th with the top 11. Still on a big breakaway up front. Starting to get some separation here in the second grouping as well. You can see drivers starting to taper off. That is it's dangerous to do that because that's how you get stack-ups. That's how you get discombobulation. That's how things go wrong. And things did go wrong in the second pack to bring out our first yellow of the night by pretty much exactly what we're seeing right now. With a lot of the old accordion effect taking place. Just behind them, the third grouping looking a bit more solid. I mean, they're lined up pretty well. The problem is they just don't have anybody to work with. There's too few of them to really make any kind of meaningful progress. They're just hoping for a caution to come out so they can get back up there with the others. Top pack still single filed out, and now the second pack will get singled out too. Now I'm real curious to see what the margin is going to be between these two groupings at the line this time by. Taking a look at the deltas between Jason Gracias and Sean Bounty. These are the two pack leaders. You see Gracias dropping quite significantly the last little while. This lap by. How about that? Gain half a second. He actually just got within half a second of the front runners as well. So Jason Gracias well within drafting range now. And he started to suck up to the back of the field. So your main pack about to reform. Just shy of the halfway point. Right on cue. Regan's done waiting. He's going to try to make the move for the lead with the help of defending champion Bobby Anderson. Anderson, Zach Williams, Ryan Shelton, they're all making some solid progress up top, and looking like Sean Bounty is going to be dethroned as leader of the season opener at Daytona, as Richard Regan Jr. of the Legacy Esports crew going to go to the point. Now my question is, how far away are pit stops? We're not far off. I mean, 22 laps into this run, and we know they can go at least that far, but not much further as we've seen in the duels. Richard Regan Jr. with one win under his Speed Cup Series career and his part-time career. It came last season at the Talladega Super Speedway. Put together a very solid drive. Was able to fend off some pretty heavy hitters for the win. Super Speedway seemed to be where Regan thrives, and I am excited to see if he'll be able to do the same tonight. Now, looking like your leading pack started to splinter here. No, not too far. Jarvis going to get clear of the side-by-side to be able to drag right back up to everyone else. And now your second pack started to lose the initiative here. They're able to close a lot down the back straightaway, but not much further outside of that. What Gracias needs is for Kyle Holden to just get up there and shove. Shove like there's no tomorrow. He's got to get him through the thick draft bubble that Shelton's putting up behind him right now. And I think just now they popped it. Yep. Gonna quickly pull up to the back of the field now. So packs 1 and 2 will officially remerge and create one big one. Josiah Vincent is dropped off. He's going to fall back in the clutches of Gotilla. Vincent with Hutchinson about to lose touch as well. And then this is Group 3. Still no changes in the running order back here. The efforts to try to open up that second lane, it has not seen too much success this afternoon. I mean, it's been very kind of cut and dry so far up top. Nobody really opted to go for it. Not a lot of drivers getting eager to try and risk it for the biscuit just yet, especially with pit stops pretty much imminent. I mean, we're talking 10 laps or less right now for stops. The only question right now is who's coming in. No matter what, you're going to be finding yourself on the outside looking in when it comes to fuel strategies, because you're going to have to make 2 stops no matter what. At least one splash to go. The only question is, do you take it now or later? Going through the running order as we continue to advance further into this race. Richard Riggin Jr. leads the way from Anderson, Williams, Audi and Dart over the top 5. Amberg, Yondashu, Eisman, Hausman, and Blute close out the top 10. From there, it's Garcia, Shelton, Holden, Sheets, Leonard, Newman, Mashburn, McFadden, Gibson, and Goodpaster. Dalton Powell, the last runner in this leading pack. In 21st, then it's Josiah Vincent in 22nd with Cotilla, Simmer, Vincent, Austin, Birog, Shu, Branson, Kirby for the top 30. Then it's Hunter, Hutchinson, Harrington, Milner. The last of the second pack. 42 seconds off is Benazzi Major along with Caton and Reed. Then laps down is Steve Dunphy. Joey Bear is out of the race, as is Zedarius Days. And Colton Easterday never made it to the start. Longest green flying run so far of the night, and definitely one of the famous ones as well. And the leaders can see the lap traffic of the road. That is Caton, Reed, Major, and more. They are catching quite rapidly. A little side-by-side deep in the field. This is for round 28th. Oh, trouble. Josiah Vincent having a moment. Hops across the infield and gets it righted. Something going awry for Vincent here. Let's take a look. head of the pack, and boy, he just got turned way to the inside of the racetrack. Phenomenal job on holding onto that car. High-speed slide, barely broke a sweat. Fantastic save there from Josiah Vincent. And now the leaders are in the midst of lap traffic. Traffic will stay painted to the double yellow line. So up top goes Regan. Oh my goodness. Jeffrey Reed bailing to pit road. 156, I think, tried to go up Wesley Dunphy. I don't know what he was trying to do, block, or if he was trying to just maybe just misjudge it a little bit, but Charles Simmer also comes down to pit road this time by. Oh, a couple cars catching the outside wall in two. And those lap cars not really making it easy for your leaders to facilitate a means of getting around them. And here we go, green flag pit stops. Oh, Minazzi Major slow down to the racetrack. Shelton locking it up, gets it slowed down in time. Close call there, coming down to pit road. Well, that mess has really disjointed a big chunk of this field now. And what's going to kind of shuffle them around a bit more is going to be green flag stops that are now underway. Under 30 laps to go. Here comes Christopher Darling. And everybody's in. Good third of the field right there. Oh boy, a bit of contact behind, I think. Everyone gets it slowed down though. Further behind, a good chunk of your second pack is in the 109. Stephen Kirby kind of getting a bit checked up there as he had to turn it to the first pit stall available to him, and well, didn't really have any room to make it work. Now here comes Regan, Anderson, Williams all into pit road. So is Hausman, Plute, and Moore. Oh, Anderson! Flips the yellow cone on entry, and that might be a penalty. That would be disastrous for Bobby Anderson if he caught that cone. And we'll see how this impacts the M&M's number 18 Mustang. He's going to go up on the jacks and take 4 tires. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I personally would take fuel only. You don't really need tires in a game like this. And it's a long stop, sure enough. Penalty. Devastating penalty to Anderson, and Cotilla has had an issue. Just got up on the transition, slides it out. Spun her up. Locked it down, no caution. So here, Sean Bounty can overtake Zach Williams and will no doubt make short work of Richard Regan Jr. up at the head of the field here. Regan all by himself. Running order looking like it'll be Bounty, Darling, Yonishu, and Amberg for the top 4. Breaks up a lot of the battling that we had so far throughout this field. Real quick, want to give another big shout out, of course, the Let's give a shout out to the sponsors that help keep the lights on here for the Speed Cup Series. Tonight's race, of course, being brought to you this afternoon by Highline Diecast Collectibles, your go-to source for high-quality NASCAR diecast and memorabilia. Whether you're hunting for the latest releases, rare finds, or looking to sell your own collection, they've got you covered. Then don't miss their live auctions every week on Facebook at facebook.com/HLD Collectibles, where passion for racing meets collectible perfection. And of course by Brooks and Animal Hospital, a AAHA accredited full-service veterinary, medical, boarding, and grooming facility serving Metro Atlanta. Visit brooksandvet.com to schedule your appointment today. By Beer Street Journal, with over 200 countries playing host to thousands of articles and millions of unique visitors on their website, they paved the way to enabling category growth and promoting better tasting beer for years to come. BeerStreetJournal.com, the best in beer. And do you want a punch of sweet and heat flavor that lingers to let you know it's there? Well, check out Twisted Steel Steak Appeal by Marty Plute. He has finally revealed his secret resting rub from the Steak Cook-Off Association that'll blow you away with flavor. Good for steak, veggies, fish, pork, poultry, and everything in between. Twisted Steel Steak Appeal is a rub above the rest. Other sponsors include SimRap Market and SimRap Guy. Time is starting to tick away. We are now approaching the final 20 laps of this race. We'll be back in a moment on Green Flight TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
back to green flag TV, still under green flag conditions, but we've had 2 more casualties. Jason Garcias has pulled down into pit road. He has called it quits. We're now 3, looking for 4, coming off of turn 2 for the 13th place spot. But this is what happened to Wesley Dunphy on the front straightaway. Oh my word. Talk about a wild ride. Let's jump that back a little bit further, shall we, Captain? As wow. Gets into the Jason shoe, and then Dunphy. That is a weird incident. Coming around, it slides down and heavy lick into the inside wall. That is a brutal impact. Let's ride on board Dunphy, what he saw. So he's got Jason's shoe on his inside. Trying to come down. I mean, Carlo can't do much down there. Shoe doors him back up the track. And, well, make of that what you want. John Bounty continues to lead the way from Darling, from beyond the shoe, from Amber. Now, let's talk strategy. And in particular, we're going to have to talk pit strategy here. So let's pull up the stint lengths of all the drivers so far in this race. Drivers were able to go 30 laps on their last stints. Now that is including caution laps. We pitted with around just shy of 30 laps to go. So in theory, we can make it to the end on fuel here, but it is going to be extremely close. And if you guys like Sean Bounty, you're a little bit nervous having been pulling the entire field behind you, and that's why we've seen it in the second pack. Nobody really wants to leave more than a lap or 2. Martin Plume made a calculated decision to duck out of the lead. You see him now running back about 5th car in line. Caleb Sheets has just done the same thing, and I'm willing to bet we're going to see Kyle Holden doing the same thing as well before too long. So overall, looking like this could be an interesting way to sort out this race. Already flashing back to the Daytona duels, especially duel number 1, where it did end on fuel mileage. Jeffrey Goodpaster, by the way, is out of the fight. He has had technical problems and is rapidly dropping through the field. What a big shame for Goodpaster. He's now about the 5th or 6th driver that's fallen victim to that tonight. Secondary pack. Sure enough, just like I thought, Kyle Holden doesn't want to lead. He knows he's not safe on fuel. Starting to fade to the rear of the field. And all that fuel mileage is why we haven't really been seeing anything in the way of double file racing so far tonight. And now, even further down, Richard Regan Jr. now making the same move, pulls to the high side, allows now for Zach Williams to take up the top spot. Very surprised that the top 4 have not followed suit yet. I wonder perhaps, though, they're trying to catch up to the 4-car pack in front of them. That, by the way, is Dave Harrington, Bobby Anderson, Tim Branson, and Doug Milner. Now, if I'm these guys, if I'm the top 4, I'm trying to catch this pack so I can just ride to their draft at half throttle, and bada bing, bada boom. Fuel problem resolved. And it's looking like that is exactly like what Sean Bounty wants to do. Let's run on board for a few laps, see if we can get up there. Well, okay, then going to the outside was not what I had in mind, but I don't know, maybe they're safe, maybe they know something we don't. Christopher Darling going to try to shove Bounty clear, and the Honest and Amberger are going to do the same, but if what these guys from 5th on down are doing, I think these 4 are not going to make it to the end of this race on fuel, or at least Bounty's not going to. It's always the big question, right? Can they stretch out the field? 9 laps to go with the line. One caution, and this race will be at it's going to be a solved equation. We're going to come down pit road, get a splash go enough for overtime, and that'll be it. Or you can stay out, save a lot, and be guaranteed to make it to the end, but not quite on overtime. Go at the line. Time quickly started to run out, and more lap traffic is being caught now. A 6.9 second gap from 4th to 5th. 7.1 from 1st to 5th. And now it looks like Stan Hauser may have had connection problems. Boy, we are dropping like flies this afternoon. Once again, Bound and his crew going to jump up high. Pick off cars using the outside lane. So more and more going to go laps down. And some of them are going to force these guys 3 wide up the middle. How about this? Richard Regan Jr. and Kyle Holden started to absolutely power back through the secondary train here as they've got something working with them. Martin Plute, they started to lift out a little bit, trying to make it to the end. Drew Eisman, Ryan Shelton going to do the same. They're going to tandem by around the outside line of Plute. 5 to go. No signs of the top 4 lifting. Starting to believe, hey, maybe they can indeed get the job done. Sean Bounty has gotten 10 top 10s, 9 top 5s. Has never won a race in the Speed Cup Series. Not for lack of trying. Several starts have been made. He has gotten 3 runner-ups, 3 third-place finishes. Can Sean Bounty hang on for win number 1 of his Speed Cup Series career? To go. Now it's 2. One place you don't want to be when you start these closing laps in the lead. You're the most vulnerable in the lead, and these cars are not easy to defend with. You really have to try and make them as wide as a box truck if you want to have a real chance at winning this race. But you can see the guys up in the top 4, they're not making moves. You got 4 cars, 4 teams. All of them want an equal shot to win at the World Center of Racing. Sean Bounty leads the way to pick up the white flag, looking like we're going to make it on fuel. Now the big question is, when does Darling make his move? Look at Yonshu and Amber. They're both backing up. They're trying to set up a run. I like this. This is good. They can make this work. Trying to get some help from Bobby Anderson behind. Lap traffic up high. Yonshu gets up almost into the outside wall. The bottom 2 get broken up. Cosme Yonshu in the Speed Cup Series debut gets to the point. Amber trying to steal to the way for Highline. Bounty fighting back down low. Yonshu covers him off. Side by side, Yonshu blocks up high. He's turned into the infield. 3 wide. They're all turned. Darling, no. Amberg. I think Amberg took the win on that. Emphasis on I think. I don't quite know. That has got to be one of the wildest finishes we've ever seen. Take another look. Let's watch this here in real time. So Yonshu gets hooked by a Bounty coming off the corner. Not a whole lot he could have done about that one. Slides up high right in front of Amberg. Amberg is not lifting at this point. Drives right through the 24. He shoots sideways. Bounty looks like he has it won, but he's going to get taken out here. Look at Christopher Darling sneak through on the bottom. And coming to the line, I thought it was Darling. I was wrong. That is indeed Ethan Amberg by the smallest of margins. Ethan Amber going to come home. Takes home the first win of 2025 in official Speed Cup Series competition. What a drive. And I do believe this will be Ethan Amber with his first career win in the High Tide Racing League. 3 podium finishes to his name. This is the first time he can finally stand atop the podium, and in a wild finish at that. Once again, coming to the line. It all kicks off just like that. That is unbelievable. Drivers getting hooked sideways, and this is how close it comes down between Amberg and Darling. Oh. Does not get much closer. With all that said and done, we can now take a rundown of your official post-race results from the season opener at the Daytona International Speedway. A solid drive this afternoon for Ethan Amberg, taking his maiden win by just 11 thousandths of a second. Christopher Darling comes home second. Sean Balleny will have to settle for another frustrating podium. Crosby Onasu will be back and forth. He'll have to wait to get his maiden podium. Richard Riggins Jr. was in 5th, with Mark Spillett in 6th. Drew Eisman in 7th. Kyle Holden back in 8th. Ryan Sheldon in 9th. Then Scott Leonard closes out the top 10. Sheets was 11th. Ryan Newman in 12th. Dalton Powell in 13th. Zach Williams in 14th. And it's Gibson, Mashburn, McFadden, Austin, Kirby, and Pirog for the top 20. Moving on down through the field this afternoon, it was Tim Branson in 21st, along with, excuse me on that one, down to 22nd, Jeremiah Vincent and Bobby Anderson, a lap down, along with drivers like Harrington, Hutchinson, Hunter, Shue, Miller, Simmer, and Caton. Gotilla, Major, Vincent, Reed, and Hausman, the last cars to finish this race, with Goodpacer, Gracias, Dunphy, Barrett, and Days rounding out the field. Overall, a very, very solid drive and a very special afternoon for Ethan Amberg this afternoon, as he's going to come home taking his maiden win in the Speed Cup Series here on Thursday nights. We're going to get a chance now to bring the man of the hour into the broadcast booth. Ethan, you've been on the podium thrice, and this is the first time you get to finally hoist that trophy above your head, and that was one of the closest finishes we've seen in this league as well. Got to be in the top 5 at least. Talk us through that final lap.
That was unreal. I just was going for it. I was committed to pushing Cosman there, and I was going to try to get him out front. I had a feeling that hopefully the lap cars that were tagged onto the back of that pack wouldn't play into it too much, and it ended up working out in our favor. And man, that was a lot of fun.
Just 11 thousandths of a second, the margin of victory at the line. A very strong start to your season. What's going to be in store for you and the rest of the Highline Motorsports crew going forward?
And that crew always has a blast out here, regardless of what track we're at. I'm looking forward to all the road courses and short tracks that we have in the schedule this year. Those always tend to go well for me and tend to suit my personal skills the best, but I think this field is going to be really tight this year. A lot of the newcomers this season are ridiculously fast, and it's going to be an amazing season, I think.
Atlanta Motor Speedway is up next. You mentioned a lot of the short tracks tend to play to your strengths. Atlanta, though, anything but. What's in store for you when we go racing in Georgia?
I think we got to do a lot of the same. Just be cautious at first. Just keep the nose clean. Stay together as a team if we can. It was a little bit tough to keep the Highline Motorsports guys together tonight. We were a bit all over the place in terms of running position, and it was tough to get together. But this Ghost I create, Coffee Racer US Chevy, or Ford actually, I'm on a Ford now, was extremely quick. This isn't the Xfinity Series anymore. Forget we're on a Ford now, but looking forward to carrying this momentum into the rest of what this season has to offer.
We wish you the best of luck. Good luck in Atlanta. Congratulations on finally taking your maiden win at Daytona.
Thank you, Nolan. I appreciate it. Thanks to everybody racing there at the end.
Ethan Amber comes home number 1 for the Highline Motorsports crew out of Dublin, Ohio. We'll bring in the second place runner this afternoon, Christopher Darling, losing out by just 11 thousandths of a second. Chris, so close, and no doubt you're replaying that final lap numerous times, both literally and figuratively. Overall, talk us through the afternoon, because, boy, that was a rough way to end it.
Yeah, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, hey, we survived everything. I think the 4 of us all were kind of just, you know, biding our time at the end there, and we knew it was going to be kind of wild at the end, and then the lap cars came in and made it even more wild. But it was a fun race. It was a fun finish, and I don't think anybody really made any wrong moves there at the end. So sometimes that's just how super speedway racing ends up.
It is what it is, right? Like you say, it's a part of super speedway racing, but overall, a very strong start to your season here this afternoon. Second place points, definitely nothing to shrug off. Coming into Atlanta Motor Speedway, do you reckon you can keep that momentum moving forward?
Definitely hope so. Atlanta's a little bit of a different beast. It's definitely a tighter racetrack to navigate. Even, you know, yes, it's a super speedway, but it's going to be a lot different. So, again, just about keeping the car clean and trying to be there at the end. 90% of the time, if you can make it to the end, you have a chance. So, yeah, this season's all about consistency for me. So, I'm not gonna get upset if I don't win these things. I just need to stay close and make sure I'm finishing up front as much as I can.
All right, we'll wish you the best of luck in Georgia. Congratulations on taking second place this afternoon. Only 11th thou, but hey, the closest finish at Atlanta was 1 thou. So we'll see if you can pick that one up in Georgia next week.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Nolan.
Christopher Darling comes home number 2 this afternoon, and that will bring us on down to the LA native. It is Sean Bounty bringing it up in number 3 this afternoon. Sean, what a rough way. I mean, you led much of that final run, and to have it stripped away right at the end like that when it was right in your sights, it's got to sting.
It just seems, well, let me reset here. I spent that much time in the lead preparing for that moment because 9 times out of 10, you're the sitting duck when you're leading. And had I like pulled out a line and tried to be, you know, the guy on the attack, I think the whole line probably would have slowed down with me, and just, you know, they were happy letting me lead most of that race and helping them, you know, with fuel and everything else. But yeah, it was great. The race was interesting. It was fun. I don't know how our group coming off pit road gapped the rest of the field as much as we did, but yeah, we just hung in there all the way to the end of the race and just had a little race between us. And yeah, I saw Chris start backing up and move to the middle lane, and as I was doing that with him coming down the backstretch, I see Amberg come out of nowhere with so much momentum that there was no reasonable way I could have gone up there to block him and conceive that he would have hit me straight. So I just kind of took my losses there on the backstretch, moved back down to the bottom, and hoped I'd get another push. I got one from Chris, and then yeah, the 24 was going across my windshield left and right. I didn't know where to go, but fortunately when I got hit, we were so close to the line. Still had a good finish, so I'm still happy about it. Daytona can be a lot worse in a lot of different ways, so I'll come out of here with a good finish and a good start to the season.
You're always a glass half full type of person rather than a glass half empty. I do like that about you, but we look forward to the championship as a whole. You came in late last season. You still walked away with the best of the rest championship of all the drivers that were not competing in the chase. This season, full championship, is it on the line for you?
That's why we're here. That's why we come back. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great season, and yeah, I'm glad we could start the year off strong. A lot of these leagues and seasons, they start with Daytona, and I've started seasons where I've ended up coming out of Daytona 37th or worse, starting the season, and a dozen races in, I'm back in the hunt again. But it's nice to just start a lot closer without being in such a big hole.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck. Next week, it's Atlanta Motor Speedway, so we're not quite done with the Super Speedway racing yet. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe it'll be 2 better next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Atlanta's been good to me.
That was Sean Bounty bringing it home from third place this afternoon. What a wild ride we had this afternoon. It was that was a race. I mean, that was a good race. It was a clean race, a race that kind of died off in the middle portions, but boy, as per the finish, oh boy, the finish did not disappoint. Before we get set for more racing on Green Flag TV, we of course have got to get through the rest of our racing program throughout the rest of the coming week. On Saturday night, you're going to be seeing the SRA IEL Truck Series swinging on out to the Rockingham Speedway for 150 laps. Derek Watson and I will be bringing you all the action on Saturday night, as well as on Monday night, the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series at the Talladega Super Speedway. The Cyber Thunder Racing League has their Daytona duels on Tuesday night. They'll be prepping to see who will be starting where for the Cyber 500 the following Sunday, and that'll be followed up by the Beer League with their 6th round of competition, headed back to the ovals for the first time since Daytona in season number 5 at Bristol Motor Speedway. In the meantime, if you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. As always, my name is Ola Rempel. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Green Flag TV. Boy, it feels good to be back, and there's a lot more racing to be had throughout the course of the season. We'll see you all next week when we go racing in Atlanta.